Has your mini excavator or Rato powered piece of outdoor equipment been extremely tough to start? I mean, to the point of needing to use starting fluid just to get it to chug? It seemed at first like this machine had clearly lost its prime and needed a primer bulb.
Not me. I'm in my prime.
But my dumper doesn't have a primer bulb, and it starts just fine.
This thing hasn't run in weeks. You tell me.
It's the same motor, so it is different. Whelp, with a P, upon going through multiple flowcharts, the consistency with the dumper, which is very inconsistent with the mini excavator, happens to involve the choke. Upon closer scrutinization, the mini excavator is coming short of achieving full choke. Unbeknownst to me at the time, that choke, full closed, is a necessary ingredient, not an option, for this recipe to achieve STARTDOM. This raises the question, how do we get there from here? Call it friendo. Yup, we need to get more travel when we pull the choke. I considered simply bending the bracket holding the end of the choke cable housing back, but quickly realized that's a no-go. It's bolted on both sides of the carburetor by the very bolts that attach the carb to the engine. Not good to mess with that. Upon further inspection, I realized just how silly the factory setup actually is. It's pandemonium. The manufacturer ran the cable through a double barrel stop, then through the hole in the choke arm, bent it around, and then threaded it right back through the same barrel stop. It's complete absurdity. The barrel stop itself is actually getting in the way of the choke arm before it closes completely, making the engine miserable to start without the aid of starting fluid. To back up my hypothesis, because I was born at night, but it wasn't, I'm going to test this by holding this choke arm closed whilst I crank the engine.
Holy crap, it works!
OMG, it's like freaking magic. This proves the problem is entirely with the choke arm travel. No need for primer bulbs, starting fluid, or anything else. Best of all, if my plan works, this fix is going to be completely free. The plan is to remove that factory barrel stop and cable from the choke arm,
Get it out and out of the choke itself. And hopefully it didn't get too kinky here. I don't think it did. That should straighten out if I hyperextend it a little bit. So we're about 1.97 millimeter. Might as well call it 2 millimeter. So this is what I come up with. And I have an Allen head or socket head cap screw, 1/4 with a lock washer, and then this is a nylon locking nut. And my thought was that the lock washer, we can stick it straight down through the choke arm, and then on the opposite side, we can run this nut in till it just gets snugged up, and we can snug it up onto the arm, and in theory, before it crushes that arm, this lock washer should put a little bit of tension so it doesn't have a rattling point. And then the cable will run right along the outside of it, almost like a pulley. I don't think those threads are going to butcher the cable up at all, but time will tell on that. It's pretty hard to get a smooth shank or a bolt this short to fit on that. So this is all we have to work with, and even if I have to replace that choke cable, maybe the next one will be something that can actually pull it without having to do these alterations to it. But that's what we're going to try. So let me get you back behind the carburetor again and we'll put it in. All right, so we got you back behind, and here's what we're going to do. Stick the boltee down. Oh, I forgot my lock washer. Lock washer on. Run the bolt down through. This is kind of awkward positioning, being that it's inside the engine bay behind. It's pretty congested in here. I'll just say that. See if I can very carefully get my 7/16 wrench underneath the bolt that built America, and we are. We have our ball end 3/16 Allen wrench, and let's get that thing snugged up a little bit until it doesn't rattle, hopefully. See how that feels. And that's very nice and snug right there. So now we'll take our cable, stick it through the small passage that we made there. I think I'm going to use the original piece that came with it.
Now that double barrel stop is what came on the machine, and it's really not the right thing to be using there, even though that's what I'm using in the video. But the cable goes through the top and I have it looped back around, and I don't describe it that well in the video. What I ended up doing, as you can see at the end, I put the cable just through the top hole because looping around was catching on stuff and it just didn't look like it was going to work as good that way. So yeah, I'll include the Amazon link for the right barrel stops. I'll try to find some 2mm ones and put them in the description. And clicking that link helps the channel. You don't even have to buy anything, just click the link.
So I'm going to leave a little bit of this stick out on the end here, you know, in case we have to adjust it or do something with it later. I just don't want 6 inches sticking out of here. I know some of you want 6 inches, but this is not where you want it. I'm going to cut it, I don't know, right here with my nifty little proto spring cutters. If it'll cut. And it did. So then we want to keep this from unraveling. So I have this little crimp-on terminal here. Take our stake-on pliers or whatever your favorite crimper is and crimp it in place. And now you have an end that's not going to snag on anything in the engine bay. Let me get you back around the other side and I'll show you the choke travel. And get ready, this is kind of exciting. And this is super duper exciting. Now you can see at the tip of my finger is the actual choke lever, and we're all the way open right there. Now watch when I pull the choke. We're all the way closed, all the way open, all the way closed, all the way open, and so on and so forth. Now I feel so confident that this is going to work. I'm just going to go ahead and stick our air cleaner back on. Get some light in there. These doors, the way. All right, here's the moment of truth.
Oh, beautiful.
And that's all it needed, was literally a 1/2 inch of travel. Maybe not even a 1/2 inch. 13mm, 6-7mm. In summary, this method should work on most Chinese mini excavators, dumpers, or skid steers sporting the Rato 420 and similar small engines. If you like these types of fixes, check out my ever-growing mini excavator playlist for more videos on Chinese mini excavators and Chinese mini excavator accessories. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.